He walked into the bank wearing an old janitor uniform, only wanting to check the few rupees he believed were left in his account. But the fleet commander standing behind him laughed so loudly that everyone turned. Until the screen flashed an amount that made the commander freeze, step back, and whisper, "Sir, is this really you?" What happened next changed the life of the single dad janitor forever. Arman Khan wasn't a man who expected much from life anymore. He woke up every morning at 4 a.m., made breakfast for his 9-year-old daughter Mihar, and walked to the Naval Academy where he worked as a janitor. The uniform he wore was faded, stitched at 3 places, and smelled faintly of floor cleaner no matter how many times he washed it. But he never complained. Not once. Because every rupee he earned went to Mihar's school fees, her lunchbox, her notebooks, her future. Still, that week had been especially hard. Mihar had fallen sick, and Arman had spent half his savings on medicine. For 3 days, he skipped lunch so she wouldn't have to. And now, standing inside a crowded bank, he prayed that his account had just enough to survive until salary day. His hands trembled as he waited in line. Behind him stood a tall man in an immaculate navy white uniform, decorated with badges that shone brighter than the marble floor. Everyone recognized him. Fleet Commander Hassan Raza. People moved aside respectfully. But Arman, lost in his worries, didn't even notice. The commander noticed him, though. Noticed the faded uniform, the worn-out sandals, the tired posture. He smirked. "People like this shouldn't be taking up space in a bank," Hassan muttered loudly enough for others to hear. "What balance is he even checking? Probably 50 rupees. A few people chuckled. Arman didn't respond, he simply stepped forward when his turn came. He inserted his card into the ATM. Entered his PIN. Held his breath. The machine whirred. The screen loaded. And the fleet commander leaned sideways, ready to laugh again. Until the numbers flashed clearly. His laughter died. His eyes widened. He froze. Because Arman's balance was not 50 rupees. It was an amount so large, so shocking, that even the guard near the entrance stood stunned. The crowd behind him fell silent. Commander Hassan straightened his posture, swallowing hard. "Sir, is this truly yours?" he whispered, suddenly respectful. Arman didn't speak. He didn't understand. He only stared at the screen, lips trembling, not because he was rich, but because he had no idea why this money was there. The commander stepped closer. "Come with me," he said quietly. "Now." And for the first time in years, Arman felt fear. Not of the money, but of the truth behind it. The fleet commander personally escorted Arman out of the bank, past the confused crowd, past the guards who now saluted the janitor they used to ignore. He led him to his navy jeep and opened the door as if Arman were a senior officer. "Please sit, sir," he said. The transformation in his tone was unbelievable. "I think you've mistaken me," Arman whispered. "I'm just a janitor." Commander Hassan looked at him carefully. "No, Mr. Arman. You're much more than that. And it's time you knew." The jeep drove through the city, across the naval base gates, through areas where a simple janitor would never normally be allowed. Arman held his breath as armed officers stood straighter when the vehicle passed. Finally, they stopped in front of a building with a large Navy emblem. Hassan guided him inside. Waiting in the conference room was an elderly man in civilian clothes, calm, composed, with eyes that held both sorrow and pride. He stood when Arman entered. "You look just like your father," the old man said softly. Arman froze. "My father?" The elder nodded. "My name is Admiral, retired, Shahnawaz Khan. And your father was Commander Farad Khan, one of the bravest officers this country ever produced." Arman felt the ground shift beneath him. He had grown up believing his father was a simple sailor who died in an accident. His mother had struggled every day but never told him more. The Admiral continued, voice heavy with memory. "Your father saved my entire team during a covert operation. He carried me through burning debris even while he himself was injured." Arman swallowed hard. That means he died a hero? He died a legend, the admiral corrected. And we failed to honor him. The room fell silent. Commander Hassan bowed his head. The admiral continued, your father was recommended for a lifelong honor fund enough to support his family completely. But due to internal politics and corruption, the money never reached your mother. Arman felt tears sting his eyes. Years of struggle. Years of hunger. Years of telling Mihar Abu will manage somehow. When help should have been there. When his father had already earned it with blood. The fund was rediscovered during an audit last week, the admiral said. It was corrected, updated, and transferred to the rightful heir. You. Arman covered his face with both hands. Not from greed. Not from shock. But from the overwhelming flood of truth. The admiral placed a gentle hand on his shoulder. Your father would have wanted his son to stand tall, not bend under the weight of life. Commander Hassan stepped forward. Sir, I apologize for how I treated you earlier. Please forgive me. Arman wiped his tears. You don't have to call me sir. I'm still just a janitor. The admiral smiled faintly. No. You're the son of a hero. And from today onward you will be treated as one. Arman breathed in slowly. Then he thought of Mihar. Her medicines. Her school fees. Her future. For the first time in years. It felt possible. And with that, the story of a single dad who only wanted to check his balance became the story of a man reclaiming his father's honor and discovering his own worth.